Testing mic 1 2, testing mic 1 2. Going live. Going live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Hope you're having a happy Monday. I got a cool surprise today. I don't know if this is going to work. It's a big experiment, but it's what I like to do. I'm all about experiments. I have set up a phone number for you to call. So you can call in live on the show today. So once we get the show started, I will try this feature out. I don't know if it's going to work. I've never done it. I literally just set this up just a few minutes ago. But I think it should be a lot of fun. So today we're talking about stories. Story time is kind of the theme of the episode. And I have a reason for it. But basically, I just want to hear your stories. Like, what's going on? I want to hear your favorite stories from competition. What's going on? Who's tuning in today? Ish Payne's in the building. Michael, Todd, the Williams are here. Cullen's here. What's up, Kiefer? Lacey, Jason. What's up, my Wolf Pack? I'm gonna wait for a couple people to tune in today. A few more people. Give you guys a second to warm up, and then we're gonna have a good episode. We're gonna share some stories. So if you are brave and you are willing to, I want you to call the phone number that's listed right in the description of the Facebook Live. That's 818-493-9213. I'll be taking your calls, and I want to hear your stories. I want to hear maybe some memorable moment at competition. Could be a good story, a bad story. The theme of the hour is story time. So whatever stories you want to share, we're going to play them on the air. This could go really bad depending on who's watching. But I'll wait for a few more people to join in. Alfonso, how you doing? Mr. Macias, hola, senor. Dalton's in the building. Dalton, you should give us a call. I know you got stories. What's going on, everybody? Keep tuning in here. I'll wait a few more minutes till a few more people tune in, and then it's story time. This should be fun. Well, hopefully we get some calls. You guys got to call in today. You get a chance to be live on the air with Wolfman today. Also, just a couple updates while I'm waiting for a couple of people to tune in. Some of you guys that are just, the early bird tuning in-ers. I got some big things planned. I'm so close to releasing a couple of them. I gave you some hints in previous episodes, but this show is upgrading all the time. It's getting better and better. And yeah, today's a huge, huge upgrade now that we got a phone number. Hopefully the phone number works. Now, if nobody calls me, or if somebody calls and they say that it doesn't work, let me know that as well. But yeah, let's jump into it. We're gonna start the show, so please give me a phone call. 818-493-9213. I want you to tell me your favorite story from competition. All right, let's transition. Bam. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Live with Wolfman. I am your host, Jacob Wolfman, and this is a show about all the things that you are interested in, and some of the things I'm interested in. Today, the topic of the show is story time. We're talking about stories. Now, I have a reason for talking about stories, and we'll dive into that, and we'll get to it. But I want to hear your stories today. So we have created a phone number for the show today. You can call in, and hopefully I will be able to play or get you up on the show. I had a little bit of audio technical difficulties, so the audio might be a little wonky if you call in. I don't know. It's a grand experiment. Every show is an experiment. I try to push the limits. So today's a fun show, and it involves your viewer participation. So please, I want somebody to have the courage right now to phone in. Give me a phone call, 818-493-9213. I'll say it again, 818-493-9213. 818-493-9213. Okay? Let's see if anybody has the courage to give me a phone call today and tell me their favorite stories. Now, while I wait for people to call in, by the way, the phone number is listed in the description of the live feed on Facebook. So in case you didn't catch what I said, it's listed right there. The reason why we're doing this is actually I did an interview with, wait, I can't tell you the reason. We got our first caller. Oh, man. Show history right here. It's Dalton. All right, let's see what's up with Dalton here.
Dalton, empty.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice... Okay. I've sent the caller's voicemail. Goodbye.
Oops, I sent you to voicemail. Someone else is calling. I'm still figuring this out.
Eden. To accept, press 1.
Boom.
To send a voicemail.
You are on live with Wolfman. Who is this?
This is Eden.
Eden, what's going on?
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You are one of my loyal wolf pack, always tuning in. I appreciate it. So today, you are, by the way, you're making show history right now. You're the first caller to ever call in for Live with Wolfman, or to successfully get through. So congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also I got to apologize to Dalton out there because Dalton called in before you, but I didn't know how the phone worked, and I hung up on him and answered for you instead. So, sorry, Dalton. You lost your shot at history. Eden wins. So Eden, today what we are talking about is story time. So I want to know a story that you have about competition.
All right. So, my personal favorite story is from one of my forums this year, back in Chicago. I was doing a comma form, and at the very, very end, my comma flew out of my hand and across the ring and hit my judge in the face.
Oh, no. So that's the best way possible to get DQ'd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh! So what happened? They didn't get hurt or anything, did they?
Well, she had an ice pack on her face for the rest of the day.
Oh no! You've gouged her eye out.
Yeah, and then I saw her like a month later, and I still could see the mark on her face.
That's really bad. Wow. Well, you know what? I gotta say that I always, as a judge, whenever I've judged, I try really hard to pretend like I trust the competitor, and I just trust they're not gonna ever hit me, and I try not to flinch.
Yeah.
But that is my worst fear as a judge, is that's gonna it's like one of those weapons gonna fly at my face. Was she mad?
No, she was about as nice as she could possibly be. She came up and hugged me, actually.
She's like, I needed that. Thank you. Wow. Well, that is most unfortunate. Did you learn your lesson? Do you still drop? Like, did you fix your mistake?
I fixed that mistake, yes.
Okay, good. No more hitting the judges. Well, that is that's hilarious and sad at the same time. But thank you for calling in and telling us your story today.
No problem.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna move on to the next caller. Eden, thanks for calling in. If you want to share your story today about competition, it's Story Hour. Feel free to call in. The phone number is right there, 818-493-9213. I'm taking your phone calls. Let me know how the audio is doing. Basically, I'm just holding my phone up to the microphone, so hopefully you guys can pick up on the stories. This should be an interesting episode. Dalton, if you want to try calling back again, I'll try not to hang up on you this time. the reason why we are doing story time is because stories are super important. We kind of take for granted how important they are in our lives and in competition and in everything. If you are trying to up yourself, let's say you want to be taken a little bit more professionally as a competitor. Well, you need to understand that your career in the competition world is it's a story, and you are in charge of your own story. So with that, we're going to move over. Let's try to get Dalton on the line officially this time.
Dalton, Chunky.
It's Dalton.
To accept, press 1. Okay. I've sent the caller's voice. Goodbye.
Okay, Dalton, I don't know what's going on because I keep accepting your call and then it goes right to voicemail. Try one more time, buddy. Now I'm starting to feel like it's not my fault because it was 2 times in a row. I don't know what's going on here. Actually, you know what? Let me try. Hold on, Dalton. Let me call you. That's how we're going to fix this. Stand by, Dalton. I got your phone number right here. I'm going to punch in your number. Boom, boom. Today we're taking your calls, talking about stories. Let's see if this works for Dalton.
All right, is it working?
What's up? You are live with Wolfman.
Awesome.
What's happening?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, it's all right.
How are you, Jacob?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm hurt, man. You sent me the voicemail.
I sent you to voicemail twice. I don't know why, because the other caller called in and I did the same thing to them, and it answered. So I'm still figuring it out, but I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
It's all right.
So Dalton, today we're talking about story time, and we are telling stories from competition. Do you have a story you want to share?
I have numerous, but I'll probably tell my favorite one.
Okay.
My favorite one was from my first competition. I was 6 years old. It was about a month after I started martial arts completely. And I'm at this tournament, and it was in some old basketball gymnasium thing. It wasn't like the diamonds or anything.
Sure.
And I was doing one chuck that we made out of a dowel rod and some rope. It was awesome. And as I'm chucking and I'm going and I won, my mom, Jacob, you know her. She's
Yes.
screaming Chunky in the background. Chunky! And this woman comes out of nowhere and starts yelling at my mom for calling her son Chunky. And for anyone who doesn't know, that is the wrong person to yell at. And
well, can you Dalton, hold on for a second. People that don't know your name, why was she screaming Chunky?
Oh, my last name is Chunky. It's pronounced Chunky. My name is Dalton Chunky. You look at the comments, the ZS is silent.
Okay.
All
right, so she's screaming go Chunky, and then the parent or mom comes up and yells at your mom.
Yeah. This random woman. Her kid wasn't even in the division. And she's yelling at my mom, and my mom just, well, I don't even know how to describe it. She turned into the Incredible Hulk and just started reading her the riot act for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, for anybody that's ever met Dalton's mom, that is one woman you do not want to cross, I'll tell you.
Yeah. And then the funny part is I laugh about it because it has happened about 100 times after that. And every single time, we just go back to that one moment, my first competition.
Perfect. That set the course for you. Oh, I got a story for that about my last name. So everybody knows my last name is Wolfman. So this isn't a competition story, but it's a last name story. So when I was born, and I was in the that area where they put all the babies in the hospital or whatever. You go look.
Oh yeah, like the NICU or yeah.
Yeah. Wherever where the babies rest or whatever, and they look through the glass, and all the other moms kind of look at all the babies and stuff. And this one lady saw because all the names were listed last name, comma, first name, and they saw my name and it said Wolfman, and that the lady just started freaking out. And she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. Who would name their kid Wolfman?" And then my mom was right there. She didn't know that it was my mom, and my mom turns and goes, "Yeah, I heard they named their other kids Dracula." So there's my Wolfman story.
I would probably be the one to name my kid Wolfman.
First name named after me, of course.
Yeah, of course. Wolfman Chunky. That'd be perfect.
That kid would have an easy childhood.
He would sound like a fictional monster character.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right, Dalton. Well, thank you for sharing your story today. I'll tell you what, man. As you tune in, and these phone lines aren't going off the hook, feel free to call back and tell us one of your many other stories.
Alrighty.
All right, dude.
Back to Facebook.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bam. All right. So there's our story today. We're doing story time. Dalton's calling in. His last name it starts with a Z, but it's pronounced Chunky. So if you ever see Dalton go compete, feel free to shout, "Go Chunky!" All right. Today we're talking about stories. Any story you want to share live on the air. And again, the reason why we're talking about stories is because stories are super important. If you are you get to control your story in martial arts. Your form is a story. Your life is a story. Your competition career is a story. Your rise to get your black belt was a story. Your story of how you have trained others. There's so many stories out there, and you have two choices. You can either just let the story happen and you have no control, or you can decide that you control the story. So once you realize that you are in control of your own story, you can make a lot of changes in your life and shape the story the way you want it to be told. How do you want people to remember you in the competition world? What are the stories that you remember when you're at tournaments? It's the stories are the things that make this whole reason that we compete, why we do it, so that we have these stories to tell later on, right? So today, if you guys want to call in and you got a fun story, a sad story, a scary story, I don't really care. I'm just talking about stories today. We are doing the new call-in feature. All you have to do is call live, 818-493-9213. Phone number is listed in the description of the live video. And as soon as I get your call, I'm putting you on the air. And that's just how we're rolling today. So feel free and drop your phone number, and let's have some fun with it. Who else is in the comments here? Chunky, best name ever. Jason McFarland, not able to call. It's all right, dude. Jason, you're always bailing on me, but I appreciate you tuning in early. I know it's a kind of a weird time. Oh, side note, I do have a question for you guys. I have gotten several requests to possibly change the time of the show. I know this is really a bad time for a lot of people. A lot of people are in school or they have a job, and just calling, having an hour-long show in the middle of the day is just rough. So what are your thoughts about me moving the show to later in the early evening time frame? Maybe, I don't know, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. What do you think about that? Yay or nay? If you like that idea, drop it in the comments. If there's another time that works for you, drop it in the comments. Now, the one thing that when I first started the show, I didn't want to do in the evenings, even though I knew it was probably a more strategic time, just because I had a life and I didn't want to give up my evenings. I wanted to do this during my lunch hour, but the show's kind of expanded and grown, and there's been a lot of people requesting that I update the show time. So let me know. Phil has a request that Jeannie Jones calls in. So Jeannie, if you want, I want to hear your stories. Call in 818-493-9213. I want to hear from Ms. Jones, one of my favorite Wolfpack members. Chrissy can't call in today. That's okay. Cameron, I know you got stories. You dropped some in the comments today. Feel free, buddy. I want to hear your stories. You had an awesome story about winning first place. I could repeat it on the air, but I think it'd be better if you called in. So I'm waiting for some brave souls. Who's going to do it? 493-9213. Call in. Tell us your stories. Live with Wolfman. Lacey says that time works for us later in the afternoon. It allows my son to watch them live. That is the one thing. There's a lot of competitors in school and stuff that never get to watch the show unless they watch the replay, so they don't get to participate. So I might do it. Maybe I was thinking maybe I'll do it like once a week or something in the evening, and then seeing how it goes, and then maybe transition all the shows to that time frame or something, but do some sort of gradual move over type of thing. I don't want to just do it all at once. Mainly because I don't want to give up all of my evenings quite yet. They're precious times for me, and these shows are an hour long. Kira wants to know what's going on with my coffee mug. Today's episode is brought to you by Ant-Man. Ant-Man coffee mug. It's not actually my coffee mug. It's the girlfriend's downstairs. Gotta have my coffee, though. Mark says that my kids can watch, but I'm teaching. Yeah, okay, so it's either I can't please everybody. But I am waiting. Who's gonna call me? Come on, guys, let's get some brave souls. 818-493-9213. Give me a phone call right now. Let's go. I want to hear your stories. While I wait for you guys to call in, you guys did leave some stories on Facebook, and I thought I would share some of those today. Again, the reason why I want to talk about stories is just because I want you guys to be thinking about your stories. Where is my Live with Wolfman feature here? Live with Wolfman. All right, so let me see these stories that we got. Kathy Rudolph, Jackson's Rudolph mom, says, I literally could not pick just one. They're not all about Jackson either. You need to have a NASCA mom hour and have me and Becca on. Kathy, if you're watching the show right now, I want you to call in. Tell us your stories. The stories we could tell. We could also give advice on how to be the most awesome karate mom on earth and tips on making your child successful. All right, so if you guys want Jackson Rudolph's mom on, drop some floating hearts. I'll see if I can get Jackson Rudolph's mom on, or Becca Presley, the Presley's mom on. I don't know what those moms feed their kids. It's like some sort of magic potion to make them superheroes. I don't know if they eat all their vegetables or what, but they do something to make their kids world champions. Oh, we got ourselves a caller. Let's see who this is.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
You are on Live with Wolfman. Who are we talking to?
This is Cameron.
Cameron Wharton. What's up, dude?
Yes, what is up? I was doing homework, but your show is on, so I always gotta watch it.
Good call. You made the right choice. Homework can wait. So for those of you that don't know Cameron, Cameron is a high-level competitor. He is also you were recently brought on Team Infinity. Is that correct?
Heck yes.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Congratulations on that.
Hashtag. Thank you.
That's awesome. So Cameron, you got a story to tell?
Yes. Okay, so this is from last year. Was basically my first full year on the circuit, and so this is from the beginning of last year. So I had just started being fully committed onto the NASCA circuit. This is at Compete Internationals. So I was having a terrible day in competition. I had done both of my weapons divisions. I had dropped both of them, so I was really angry, and I wasn't happy. So I was going up for extreme forms, and since I was new, I didn't have a seed or anything, so I had to go really close to the beginning. I'm pretty sure I went third. Okay. But I nailed my form. I did it good. Everyone was cheering me on and stuff. And so then when the scores come out, I got 9.87, and then there was two other competitors who also got 9.87. And so they're oh, it's a three-way tie for first. And I was that exists?
Right. Yeah, that's never heard of.
Yeah, I had never seen that at any tournament before, actually.
And I was like, so are they going to do, like, the judges pointing or what? But then, like, of course, each judge is pick a different competitor for first. So then they're like, you know what, you guys are going to have to run the forms again. And I was like, what the heck? and I had to go first again. So they're like, right away, they're like, okay, run your form again, go. And I was like, oh my gosh.
You must have been gassed.
That's where all that, yeah, that's where all that good trading came in, because I was really tired.
Dang.
After 3 divisions already. So I did it again. I'm pretty sure I did it like better the second time, and more people were watching and cheering.
Were you just more pumped up?
Division. That was the first time I ever won.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was extreme forms, and I usually win like creative, so I was shocked.
That's an awesome story, man. So you were yeah, it was anybody's game, and like basically you had to work. You really had to work for it to get that first place.
Yeah, especially going to first. It was intense.
Nice job, man. So for those of you that have never seen Cameron compete, the guy's really incredible. Definitely an underrated competitor. He's got awesome flow. Cameron, I brought you up on the show a number of times, and we always talk about your form, like, because you got that creativity, you got the high level tricks, you got the cleanliness. Like you're like, and you're original. You don't like move like everybody else. So I really like watching your forms.
Thank you. I try.
I know. Well, how long have you been competing on NASCA? Because you said this is your first full year or last year was your first full year on the circuit. But I've seen you in competition forever.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start traveling for tournaments until like 2015. So I only did like compete nationals, and then I did the AKA American Open when it was there. So 2015 was the first time I went to the Warrior Cup, and I went to Gators that year, and then 2016 was when I went to most of the tournaments. Interesting.
I guess maybe I only go to a handful of tournaments, so it's always the ones you're at, so I always feel like you're always on the scene, but apparently that's a new phenomenon for you.
Yeah, it's kind of neat for me.
Cool. So what are your plans for this next year?
I am trying to make my forms and everything stand out, because if you know, there are a lot of competitors moving to the men's division.
Yes.
So it's going to be super packed, and I'm kind of nervous about it, but kind of excited to see what everyone's bringing. So it's going to be tough.
Awesome.
But I'm going to try to make like super good forms. I'm going to camp at the end of this month, so we're going to work that really good.
Nice. Shout out to Infinity Winter Camp coming up. Whoop whoop. So, which tournaments are you going? Are you you're just doing the full circuit this next year, like as many as you can do, or?
I'm gonna do as many as I can. This year I did 9, so I'm trying to do the same ones again, and then adding Quebec Open. I definitely want to hit that one this year too, because I've never been there before.
Yeah, I have seen videos, and Quebec Open, their night show looks like one of the best night shows on the planet. It looks it looks amazing. All right, Cameron. Well, as soon as the show's over, I'll let you go back to your homework, but no homework until the show is over. You need this is homework right here.
Training in like 20 minutes.
All right. Well, no homework at all. You got training. You got priorities. You know. Are you in college then?
Yeah, I do college online, so I do classes in the morning, and I train, and then
nice.
have to go to work later on. So.
Well, that's nice. Online's nice because it's flexible. And you can have 2 browsers open. You have one tab open for your class and one tab open for Live with Wolfman. It works perfect.
That's literally what I'm doing.
Nice. All right, man. Well, we'll let you go back to class. Thanks for calling in.
Yep. All right, later.
See ya. All right, that was Cameron Wharton, high-level competitor, telling us his story of his first win in Extreme. So he had to win. He had to go up there, give it his all, and he got tied for first place. There's a 3-way tie, and they threw him back up on stage right away again, and he had to step up his game and do it again to pull off the victory. That's a cool story. That is perseverance. That takes heart. That takes something special. I mean, obviously, whenever you do your you do your form and you give it everything you got, you're going to be gassed. And then if they make you do it again for in a runoff type situation or a tiebreaker situation, woo, that's awesome. Cameron, thanks for watching the show, and thanks for calling in. Anybody else want to call in? I saw that James Person tried to call during that phone call. I wasn't able to accept. So, James, if you want to call back, feel free to call back. The phone number is 818-493-9213. We're talking about stories, story time hour, any stories you want to share about competition, good, bad, scary, funny, hilarious, maybe not illegal, but anything other than that would be great. Let's see. I got to update my comments here. Oh, you guys have a lot of comments. Lisa says that, oh, by the way, I asked earlier in the show what's a better time for this show, and school owners and instructors appreciate this time because they're teaching classes in the evening, but then in the evening, the athletes appreciate it because they're at school during this time. So it's kind of a hit or miss. Maybe what I might have to do for this show is cater the content. Maybe if I do shows in the daytime, I'll talk to instructors and school owners, and then in the evening, we can talk to athletes. That might be a solution. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, we got another phone call coming in. After this phone call ends, you guys can call in, and I will be taking a call live on the air.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on, caller? You are live with Wolfman.
I'm live.
Yes, sir.
All right, so my story is going to talk about, of course, my kids, Jackie and Daniel Person.
This is James Person, by the way, everybody.
Well, just a little bit about Jackie. I'm going to focus on her this time. And Jackie went through a lot this year. There was a lingering foot injury, which we found was multiple tears in her right foot.
Yeah.
So, and right before that big tournament at ESPN where a lot of people saw her win on stage three out of 4 times, little do you know, she was in a cast up until Tuesday. She didn't train at all. And it was just pure determination for that girl to go up there, win the divisions, get on stage, and win in 3 totally different divisions. Traditional, CMX forms, CMX weapons, and just to go down in point sparring. It was just still an amazing performance by her, and I'm just amazed by both of them. Then on top of that, she turned around and had her fitness video come out. So we're just excited for them and the things that 2018 is going to bring to them. So 2017 was the year they came out, and let's see what happens in 2018.
Awesome. So, yeah, I saw Jackie wearing the boot for a lot of last year. I had no idea that she took it off, and then like within a week or so, she did all that. That's amazing. So
within two days.
So how long was she on the boot?
She was in the boot for 2 weeks. She had what's called we didn't realize it was a tear. We thought it was just a sprain or something, and she actually tore 2 ligaments in her foot, 2 out of the 3 ligaments in her foot, and
wow.
She had what's called a platelet-rich therapy treatment, which they actually take blood out of one part of your body, recycle it, and inject it into the hurt, injured part of your body, something like Peyton Manning did. And her doctor at Regenerative Sports Medicine, he did it, and it was amazing. I mean, 2 weeks later, she couldn't train at all. He said, we're going to take a chance. She's not going to be able to train. She's going to have 2 to 3 days.
Right.
That's it. She cannot move.
Wow.
And she took the boot off on Tuesday, and on Friday we were in Florida. So
wow.
It was an amazing. That's what made that performance so amazing for our family, because we knew the background of it.
Yeah. So did you have this all like planned out on a calendar? You're like, you technically should be healed by this day. You know, we already got our tickets booked. Like, we're going to this tournament. Like, you got to make it happen. Or
no, we said we literally prayed. It was just one of those things. We knew we were going to ESPN. Daniel, of course, was going to compete. If worst case scenario, Jackie was just going to be there on the sideline cheering for him. Yeah. And she was determined to be there.
And so, can you tell everybody the name of this tournament? Is the World Champion?
It's the ESPN International Martial Arts Festival.
Yep.
It's held every year at the ESPN Worldwide Sports in Orlando, Florida.
Yep. So
promoted by David Scalar.
It's one of the 3 martial arts tournaments that I know of that airs on ESPN. There's the U.S. Open, there's the ATA World Championship 360s, and then there's this tournament in Orlando And yeah, Jackie crushed it. She was definitely like the highlight of the whole tournament because she took home 3 titles from 3 distinct divisions. Pretty amazing accomplishment. That's awesome. And then there was another thing you kind of slipped by, and I wanted to talk about real quick. What was this? What's this fitness thing that you guys got going on?
So last year, one other thing between the injuries, Jackie and Daniel we put together a fitness video. They wanted to show what they go through in the background to be able to, you know, a lot of kids see everybody tricking and doing these doubles and all these 540s and this, that, and other, and they realize that you have to be in shape to do these things, and you have to have stamina to do these things. You know, we see a lot of kids go to tournaments and they get tired after the first round of the fight. They're exhausted, they're throwing up on the sidelines, this, that, and other. So what we wanted to do was show you what we go through, you know, what they go through to stay in shape and to stay, you know, to get that endurance and to get that strength to be able to do those moves and to be able to go through these tournaments. And then if there's a runoff, they're not tired. So we gave you a brief glimpse, and it's called Power You Fitness. And we created this whole fitness. It's actually a 5-part series. We release one part. We release a total body. It's a 5-part series. It's called Power You Fitness. It's Jackie and Daniel teaching their martial arts class. Some people may have seen the clips that we do. We actually teach on Sundays. So this is just a 20-minute workout. It's for everybody. It's for anybody that does any type of physical activity. It's for all ages, and it's taught by kids, and it's showing you what they do. And it's able to be modified based on your strength, based on your level. So we released it yesterday.
Yep.
Got great feedback. It's an exciting video to watch. You see some highlights in the beginning. You see some crazy things in the end. They do some funny faces while they're doing their tricks, so it's kind of exciting to watch. I know Cameron Winnington is a part of it. You see Jefferson Lewis, you may have heard of, is a part of it. So yeah, you're gonna see some names in there that you may have heard of here and there. But yeah, we all had fun, and we all had fun getting in shape.
That's awesome. I actually watched the video yesterday. It's about a 20-minute long workout video, led by Jackie. Daniel's up there too. And yeah, it's just like one of those workout videos you see the professional fitness people do. It's that same kind of vibe and feel where like you follow along and you just train with them. So if you guys are out there and you want to look for like a new fun workout, you want to challenge yourself, go check out Jackie and Daniel's workout video. It's free. It's on YouTube, youtube.com/Jackie and Daniel 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So go check that out. Free plug for the day. This episode is not sponsored by that at all. It's just James called in, and so we talk about it. But awesome, cool story. So that's an amazing story about Jackie overcoming, you know, getting off the boot, getting that Peyton Manning treatment to heal herself with magical speeds, and then win everything practically. And then you guys came out with this thing. You guys are on fire. What's your plans for 2018? You're gonna go compete at a lot of tournaments.
2018 is going to be interesting. We're looking at WKC. We're looking at NASCA. We want to continue. We know, little do people know that we're part of the Fearless family of martial arts too, along with being sponsored by Juventex. So we're going to continue those hopefully through 2018, and you know, just kind of push a little harder. Every year we try to raise our levels. We sit down as a family and plan that the whole year out. So we're looking at releasing the second version of the fitness video in 2018. We're looking at possibly doing maybe 8 or 9 NASCA tournaments and kind of introducing them to the world at WKC.
Awesome. All right. Well, good luck. Thanks for calling in, James. And I'll chat with you a little bit later.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for calling in. See you later.
Bye.
Awesome. Person family, you know, they live this lifestyle, the martial arts athlete lifestyle. It's cool to see 2 siblings, you know, have that bond where it brings them to that level where they, you know, they have great parents that support them, and then they go around and they get to compete, and then they create cool, fitness videos. Like, that's pretty cool. That's definitely not your average competitor is not going to go out and do that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for calling in, persons. If you guys want to, feel free to call in the show. We're talking about stories. So any stories you want to have about competition, a funny story, a scary story, whatever you want. The focus of this episode is just on storytelling. The phone number we're calling in today, it's a new thing that's happening on the show. You can call in 818-493-9213, and we'll just have a good chat. Again, the reason why I want to talk about stories is because stories are super important. Our lives are told through stories. Everything about our life is their story, from the minute we're born to the minute we die. It's the stories, the micro stories that happen, and the whole lifelong journey. So as somebody that does photography, videography, social media, live video, stories are super important to me. Being able to tell stories, it's the only way to get messages across. And as a competitor, you want to be able to tell your story. You want to tell your story in the ring through your form, and you want to be able to tell your story out of the ring. What kind of person you are, what kind of competitor you want to be, how do you want to be remembered by, and so basically having an opportunity for you guys to call in to talk about whatever stories you want is just kind of an excuse to talk about this larger theme of how important stories are in our lives. So that's kind of the topic of the day. Again, number is 818-493-9213. Taking your calls. We need some brave souls to call in and tell us your stories. Let me see. We got... All right, I'm going to share a story while you guys are waiting for a phone call here. It's from Caitlin. Michelle says Jonah would say, Jonah would be her son. Jonah looks like he's about 9 or 10 years old in this photograph. He's hanging out with Michael Guthrie in the photo, just to give you some context. It says Jonah would say his favorite memory came when he was 8 years old. Okay, 8 years old at the Midwest Open. It was his first time he went to Kansas City to compete. He won all 3 of his forms divisions within 20 minutes. He was so out of breath. Then he went to place first in point sparring. He was so excited because Michael Guthrie's picture was on his trophies. Then he looked over and saw Michael tricking on an open mat. He freaked out. He had a clean sweep that day and got to meet his hero. That's a pretty amazing story. Yeah. Michael Guthrie, one of the greatest martial arts trickers around. If you don't know who Michael Guthrie is, like, man, it's like explaining to a basketball fan who Michael Jordan is. But yeah, that's cool. That sounds like an amazing day. Anytime you get a chance to meet your hero and you win all those divisions, that sounds like a great win. Cool story. Thanks for sharing. Do you guys want to share your stories? Come on, I'm waiting for your phone calls right now. I don't have too many more stories to share unless you guys give me something to share. 818-493-9213. Call me up. I want to hear your stories. Oh, we got ourselves a caller.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
Hey, what's going on? You are on live with Wolfman. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jerry Gross. How's it going?
Jerry Gross, what's going on, my man? How are you doing?
So, our story is going to be from Compete of this year.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I got feedback coming from both ends. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you mute your live show stream so that it doesn't have the delayed echo.
Sorry about that. I'm going to switch over my end. All right, so we went to Compete this year, and it was an amazing tournament. It was our 4th tournament on the national circuit, and all the girls fit in the ring, and we're missing one girl. Her name is Madison Baylor. Her dad's Bill, and he's just awesome. So all the girls are looking around for her, and it turns out that she's sick. So they flew all that way. They're supposed to compete in 6 divisions, and she can't compete in any because she has the fever.
Oh, no.
So
as a dad, I'm thinking that sucks. That's like $340 down the hole.
Right.
So the next morning, she actually comes in and she competes in traditional, and she wins it. And for the first time, she makes it onto the stage. Onto runoff, and that was incredible. They flew all that way, missed 6 divisions, only competed in 1 division, won it for the first time ever. And in NASCAR, she's been there for 2 years. She won it, and she gets to make it to stage. And to share that moment, I think that's just the best story, is sharing the moment where a kid wins and they get to go for the first time to run off.
That's awesome. You're the second caller to call in today to tell us about an amazing, overcoming story from Compete Nationals. Cameron Wharton called in saying that he had a huge obstacle to win in his division as well. That's amazing. That is really, like, it's risky to book all of this, book the flights and the hotels and all the training, and then you show up at the day of competition and you could be sick, and that just sucks. And the fact that she was able to, like, work through all of that, save her energy just for the right moment, that's a very special moment. That's really cool. It's a great story.
Yeah, and it couldn't happen to a better family. Like I said, Bill, he's just a great dad, and he's so supportive of all the girls in the ring.
Very cool. And you said that was Madison?
Madison, yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Madison. Hopefully you guys are listening today, getting some love on Live with Wolfman. Very cool. Actually reminds me, was it 2 years ago, I think, at Compete Nationals, Tyler Weaver was deathly sick at the tournament. And he had a very similar kind of story where he was just, like, puking sick. He would go and just sit in his hotel room and couldn't get out. And, like, I was there trying to do a photo shoot with him, and, he had just barely enough energy to like stand in front of the camera for like 5 seconds. Then they like had to run and go. And, he showed up and he still competed and he persevered. And sometimes you just gotta, like, when you're that sick, I don't know how they do it, but you got to be a special person to, like, dig down deep and be able to, pull out your best, leave it all on the mat without, leaving it all out on the mat, if you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Awesome story. Jerry, you got another one for me? I feel like you got a lot of stories to share.
Oh, well, just from another big one was at, what's the last one we went to? We went to so many this year. Pan Am's, we trained so hard. Shout out to our coach Joseph. He's worked so hard with Alice, and she forgets her form and creative. So we're already down.
Oh,
then
no.
She drops in extreme.
Oh, no.
And then she gets ready for musical. Well, I look around and, like, there's like 40 people that's come over to the ring to cheer her on. And I just wanted to say that NASCA parents are so awesome about supporting the people in the ring, especially when they're having an off day.
That's awesome. Yeah. I
love the way they come together.
You'll find in the NASCA world that it's definitely a big family. And some family members don't get along with other family members, and there's bitter rivalries and politics and arguing, but at the end of the day, it is family. And, like, when somebody needs support and everybody comes together and shows support, we've seen that a number of times. I've seen so many examples of it in a little bit more severe circumstances, like when somebody, it gets in a car accident or something tragic happens, like everybody comes through. Or if somebody's just having a bad day, get 40 people to go cheer you on. I mean, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty powerful stuff. So, shout out to all the NASCA families out there that kind of make this whole sport alive and what it is. Jerry, do you have what are your guys' plans for 2018?
We're going to run full circuit again. So we're going to be trying to hit 9 tournaments this year to 10 tournaments is what our goal is. We'll see at AKA, how the points go and everything. But Alice's overall goal is to win 1 division this year.
Awesome. That's a good place to start.
Because she knows if she wins one division, she gets to try to become a hyper athlete, and that's our overall goal. So
Right. Well, technically, so you mean won a world title?
one world title, because that's the current.
Yep.
That's what you need is to win one world title. Yes, sir.
Correct. Yeah. So anybody out there that wonder like how does Hyper pick their athletes and stuff, we look when Hyper looks for sponsorship opportunities, they look for people that have won world titles, meaning that not only did they win one division one day, but they've won the most points throughout the whole year because they won more first places basically than anyone else. So that's what we mean, but that's the difference between a world title and a world championship. But anyhow, it's a huge goal. It's a high achievement. So, Alice, is it Alice? Is that how you pronounce your daughter's name?
No, sir. It's Alice.
Oh, Alice. I'm sorry. See, because it's spelled Alice without the Alice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it. I'm sorry. Alice, I've seen Alice, I've seen her at Hyper Pro Camp before. I've taken her photo before. She's just an awesome person. Like, how old is she? About 10?
She's 9.
Nine.
She'll move up to 10-year-old division this year. Her birthday's in May.
Okay, so she's 9 going on 10, as 9-year-olds would say. She's got a bubbly personality. She's got a smile every time I see her. There's posts on her online, like she's doing a bunch of backflips and stuff and smiling while she does it. And she has a great parents, which is always crucial. And she's got a lot of potential, so I'm excited to see her continue to evolve and go up against the best of the best out there. So I wish the Gross family good luck. I'm excited to see what happens, and maybe we'll get to do a photo shoot in 2019.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you as always for everything. We love your show, and you have a great one.
All right, you too. Thanks for calling. All right, that was Jerry Gross. Daughter Alice. I'm sorry I thought it was Alice for some reason. It's Alice. Alice Gross, you got to check her out. She's going to be one of those superstars in a few years. She's still young. She's like 9 years old, so give her a few more years. But she's got the fundamentals there to be a champion. Jeff Orlowski wants to know if his son Hunter Orlowski ever paid the $14 that he owed me. Jeff, I'm afraid that he did not. We came to an agreement one day. We called it a truce. We shook hands, and I agreed to let it go. But that's a good story in itself. Jeff, if you ever want to call in on the show, we can talk about the $14 story. But I'm going to reserve it. We're going to take one more phone call today, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. So if anybody else wants to call, feel free, call in. This is a new, fun way to engage with everybody that tunes in. Phone number is 818-493-9213. Taking your phone calls. Go Alice. Jeannie Jones says, our team Competitive Edge did a kindness challenge this summer, and all the kids did a random act of kindness and challenged others to do the same. These are the kinds of things I admire about our coaches, instilling the passion to help others along the way. That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, that's one of the things about martial arts and turning martial arts into a sport. There's a lot of benefits of martial arts, obviously, and a lot of that has to do with character building and being a good person and inspiring others and giving back and carrying on the torch. And so it's just a cool way to basically grow up as a kid. You get to be surrounded by a lot of positive influences, and you get to be around like super hardworking people. And it's a sport that is all about like self-improvement before improvement of anything else, and it's just cool. So that's a great story. Anybody else wants to call in? I'm gonna keep the phone line open for just a minute or two, and then we're gonna wrap it up. People are saying they love to hear underdog stories. So if you have any underdog stories. Lacey Glover says, I remember when Lucas was 4 years old. He had only been training since mid-April, the first of the year, when he attended the Ozark Mountain Nationals in July. He had only been to 2 tournaments, and he went to Ozarks. He placed first with his traditional kata, and he got to go into the nighttime finals. That's great. A 4-year-old in the nighttime finals. That made his day. He didn't win grands, but he had an amazing time and strives to make the Grands win with every tournament. That's great. Cool story. The Lacey, Glover, and Lucas, they are big fans of the show, and they are always, they love the sport. So I'm excited to see, Lucas as he continues to progress in the sport. He's still an underbelt. I think he's like a blue belt right now, but with this attitude and training and love for the sport, he has all the foundations right there to become amazing as he gets older. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, Katie got a long one here. Katie Veradale says, my favorite memory from the tournament was when my daughter did her very first one. It was a local tournament, and she was 5 years old and had been doing karate for about 4 months. We traveled a few hours to go to it and with other people in our school. Besides the owner and head instructor, there's my brother and a sister who just transferred to that studio maybe a month prior. The boy was a junior black belt assistant and was injured, so he couldn't compete, but he stepped up and became a huge support to a very nervous 5-year-old. Again, a kid he barely knew. She did awesome and took 2 first places out of 10 kids. Her junior assistant cheered louder than anyone and was the first one to congratulate her at the ring. Her instructor was judging at a different ring, so he couldn't be there to watch, but he ran across the gym when he saw her with her trophy. She had the biggest smile on her face for days. Even though it's not a crazy exciting story, it was our first experience to the competitive side of martial arts world and definitely changed her view of everything. That amazing first tournament experience made her a more motivated martial artist, and since then she's regularly competes and does well, and she's challenged herself to learn more difficult routines. She still talks about that first tournament and says it was her favorite trophy, even though she has ones 4 times as the size. I think it's really cool that she has such a great memory to look back, and it definitely sparks something in her. That's awesome. And that makes me think about like the times that when I used to compete and how motivating it would be to go out there, do my thing, give it my all, get that trophy, go home. And I remember as a kid, I would just stare at my trophies at night and just like, I earned those. These are mine. I can't wait to get more. And I would just be motivated to work harder. And it was great. It was an awesome, motivational tool. So shout out to Katie's daughter. I don't think she mentions her daughters by name in here, but shout out to Katie's daughter. Awesome story. If you guys have any stories you want to tell, you guys, by now, you should know the number. It's 818-493-9213. I am taking your phone calls live on the air, live with Wolfman. Let's take one more caller. Come on, let's see who else who wants to call today. And if I don't get any calls, then I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to make a phone call, and a lot of you are watching the live stream on Facebook, so you'd have to memorize the phone number and then close the app and then open your phone. So it's a little complicated. I understand that. But it's a new fun technology. Why not? I'm going to share one more story. It's from Jeannie Jones. She says, about 3 or so years ago at Dixieland Nationals, Jackson gave Benjamin, that's Jeannie's son, his grand champion trophy. Benjamin came home and was so inspired. He told me that he was going to win his own Grand's trophy. The next Dixielands, he won a Sync Weapons Grand with his teammate. I admire all the champions who love giving young up-and-comer athletes a boost to their confidence. That's amazing. I mean, imagine your hero coming up to you and giving you his or her grand champion trophy, that thing that you always dreamed of having, and you get to hold your hero's trophy. Super inspiring. It's just another example of how Jackson is amazing, and it's cool to hear that Benjamin got to, he got to pursue his dream. He had a dream, he had a goal, and he worked hard, and it only took him a year. It took like the very next tournament, the next year, he was there achieving that dream that he set. Now imagine like what other dreams he can set if he just sets his mind to it. It's pretty awesome. All right, guys. Today I had a fun show. This was really interesting, and I'm going to wrap it up real quick with one more little spiel about storytelling. This whole concept of today's episode was talking about share some of your stories with us, and I left it open-ended. You can talk about anything. And the reason I want to share about stories is because they're very important. They are the things that make life go round. They're the things that we go back to, and how we remember things is the stories and how we construct the stories. And more importantly, another way to look at stories is they're what other people remember you as. So you need to be in charge of your own story as a competitor, as a parent, as a tournament promoter, as somebody that creates media, whatever it is. It's all up to the stories that we tell. So think about your story. If you have to, write it down on a piece of paper. Like, you should be able to answer the question, like, if somebody were to mention me, they would say I am X, Y, and Z. Now, of course, you can't make people say what you want them to say, but you can still craft your story the way you want it to be told. And if you want to be remembered a certain way, then you need to act the part. And you just have to cater your story that way. Sometimes that's just through social media posts. If you want to be remembered as a very professional and very respectful person, then, on social media, for example, all of your posts should be very respectful. And then when you are carrying yourself at a tournament, you should always be acting very professional and very respectful. And you make that conscious decision that you are going to have that as your story. If you want to be seen as the bad boy, the rebellious guy that's, hard to get along with, or a difficult person, and that's, you choose that to be your story. I'm not judging you, and that's your choice. Then that's your story. But what isn't a good idea, though, is not being aware that you have a story to tell. That's how a lot of people live their lives. They just live their lives not realizing that their whole life is a story, and that leaves you open to having other people tell your story for you instead of you being in control. And then other people will explain how you are, and maybe that's not how you want it to be seen. So just take control of your own life, your own situation, and do it through storytelling. Okay? So I'm going to wrap up today's episode. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you all had a great Monday. Tomorrow we have the amazing Jeff Doss will be a guest on the show, and we're going to be talking about NBL in 2018. He is the president of NBL, the new president. The torch has been passed to Jeff Doss, one of the youngest on the scene to ever hold that high-level position of power. So very cool. Also a friend of mine. So we're going to be chatting, and we'll be taking your questions and calls, and maybe I'll even open up the phone line. I think that might be fun now that I got this thing set up. So maybe this is a new regular part of the show. But in either case, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks for calling. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Please, if you haven't done so already, whether you're watching the replay or watching it live, please hit the share button. Make sure you get the floating thumbs up. Leave the comments. You know the drill. Help spread the show, spread the love. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your Monday.